very easy how to set up your Flutter environment to start your development. And probably people love using the VS Code, and some also are really in love with the Android Studio. So I basically use both of them, and but mostly I use the VS Code, and then I use the Android Studio emulator to test my code, and I also use the Xcode as well to run my iOS code. Okay, so let's get started. So to actually start, you basically need to open these 3 sites. Only 3 sites to 4 one you can get it. Yeah, so first what I do to set up is to first get my Xcode, and Xcode you can simply get it on the App Store. So you simply open the App Store first, then you search for Xcode in the App Store. Okay, as it's opening, now you also need this, the Flutter SDK itself. You need that one to set up your project. Okay, so normally I do install the Xcode first so that I can get my simulator for my Xcode to test. Yeah, very easy to set up. So since I have already installed the Xcode here, so if it's now that you're about to start, you can just do get Xcode. But if you are using Windows, then you can simply go straight forward by using the Android Studio. But if you are using Mac, you go and then you say get Xcode, then the Xcode will finish downloading. After it finishes download, there's nothing else you have to do, just leave it like that. Okay, so let me minimize this. Next is to get your Flutter SDK, which depending on your platform or OS. So I'm using Mac, so I actually have my Flutter already downloaded, and I'm gonna show you later. So any of them, so if you click on probably Mac OS, it should take you to the downloading page. Okay, so this should open up, good, and then you get this. So you just simply click on this and then you download this. Okay, I already have this. Okay, so let's say you have finished downloading this. What you need next is to get your VS Code or Android Studio, but let's say most people will be going for Android Studio because some of you love the Android Studio. So you just type Android Studio, then you open the Android Studio, then you get your VS Code here as well. So VS Code, so the first one, good. So Android Studio, yes. So you just choose your options, but basically it might pick your default machine and the latest one here, which is the Bumblebee, right? So you get it and then you download it, but I already have mine, so I don't need it right now. Where is mine? This one. Okay, so I have installed it. After installing this, I'll take you through 1 or 2 stuff. Then your Visual Studio, you get your Visual Studio for Mac. If it's Windows, Linux, whatever you want to download, you just get this. Okay, good. So let's say now you have your Visual Studio 1, and then you have your Android Studio 2, and then you have your Xcode. But the Xcode, you don't necessarily need to even open it. After downloading, it's just fine. Just leave it like that. Okay, good. So for the Android Studio, for the Xcode, what you'll be needing here is only using the simulator. So to open the simulator, you can just go into your terminal and then type open -a simulator. Yeah, then you just click enter or return, and then it's gonna actually open a simulator for you, Xcode simulator for you. Yeah, maybe at the first time it takes a little bit of time, so you need to just wait for it to open. Okay, so now we are done with getting the Xcode and then the simulator. Okay, now we go to first, what should we do? I love VS Code, so let me begin with the VS Code. But before this, you need to set up your environment, okay? So let's say, let me open this. Let me open this. So let's say I probably have my flutter here. So I just dump the flutter in here inside my home. You can actually dump it anywhere. It does not really matter. You just have to point the path to this. Okay, so since I have this one here, I need to first set up my path, right? Okay, so to set up your path, you can use the terminal to actually get your path. Okay, let me see themes. Yeah, but first, what I do is, if I'm not gonna use the global environment to access my Flutter, I can simply go to the extensions here and then search for Flutter. Okay, so if you search for Flutter at your extension, you get this. I have already installed. This is disabled. By your side, you will see install, so you install this. Okay, so after you have finished installing and you have your Flutter SDK somewhere sitting on your computer, which is here in my root and Flutter, you can simply go ahead by creating a project, and this will be very easy for you to select the path without going through all this hell of setting the path for your global, if you only want to use this in the VS Code. So I mean using only terminal to communicate with your with your Flutter project. So you can simply go press Command P and then go the greatest sign symbol, then you probably type maybe Flutter or anything. So when you click on, let's say, Flutter new project, so you need to click on this since you have installed this, and you do this. If you don't have the path set, it's gonna prompt you here, select down here, which is not showing because I have already done mine, to show down here that locate SDK. Then you click on the locate SDK, then you navigate through this path, which is here, and then you only open like this. You don't open any folder, you just open Flutter just like this, and then you click set SDK, which it will be showing on an icon here, which I've already done. Then it will set your SDK path for you, where you don't need to go into your terminal, and you can simply run Flutter doctor to see whether it works -v. Then it's gonna work perfectly good. But if you sometimes want to use your terminal, then you need to actually set your path, that is the global path for your Flutter project. So how do we do that? To do that, let me close and open again, just default. Then you type in here vim. Vim will open some file for you, and that file is where you need to set your path, which I've already done. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So vim bash, first you go to vim bash underscore profile. So vim bash underscore profile, enter. Okay, so for yours, everything in here will be blank. There will be nothing here. Okay, so what you have to do is to make sure you set your path. You will not see anything, so probably you need to write this down in your note, or probably on Word or Pad or something. You need to write all this down. Here will be empty, then you copy and then paste it right here. Just paste it at the top. So let's see, let's look at how the path works. If you can see, this is users bin / Flutter bin cache blah blah blah. So you can actually pick the location here. Flutter, you see, is at bin. So let me go move it to this side. So you see users, so this is actually users. So as you can see here, Mac users bin, right? and slash flutter. So I open flutter, so you can see flutter here. Then I open bin, you can see bin here. Then inside the bin I open cache, okay, and you can see cache here, that SDK, this is it. Then you go to the bin. Okay, so this is the path. If you set the down here like this, you just right click and then copy, then you get the path. Okay, then you can use that to set up this. So here you only need to change the username for yours, so where your flutter is folder is, and the bin, which is basically the same for everybody. So this part that you need to check well, where do you place your flutter? That is the path you need to add there. And then this is actually for people in China, so you can use this or the main flutter.dev or whatever. Yeah, push back. You can use the normal one, or you can still hook up to this and it will work fine. So this is for the .bash. Okay. All right. So how did I get the path? You need to just set your view. Is it the view? Yeah, view. Yeah. So here hide path. But if I hide the path, you see it's gone. So if you go to show path, good. So if you are using Mac, you can easily get it. If you are using Windows, you just make sure you follow the path. Then you copy the path. Then you can replace it with this on your notepad or Word or whatever it is. Make sure you set it up before you paste it in here, because typing in here sometimes it looks weird. Okay, then you paste it. After you paste it, then you use the shift what? Shift, how do we call it? Semicolon. Then you type WQ, then exclamation sign, then you click enter. So I'm done with the Vim. Now let's go with the bash. No, not the bash. We go to the next one. We're gonna set another path so that it will be global. So we gonna set another one. We type Vim. Mostly some of them you use the bash and it works fine, but some you need to set the 2. So I always recommend that you set the 2 so that you don't find yourself one thing. So I use the vim.zsh. You're getting it right. So the first one was the profile. The set this one is zhrc. Yes, zhrc. Okay, then you press enter. When you press enter, you see there's another path setting in here. So here it's basically like the first one, but there's a small slight change in here. So you see here we have the path pointing to our Android SDK platform tools, which is in library. So you make sure you have that. So if I go here, you could see that in my library, Android, where is it? This. And then you go to SDK, then you go to platform tools, this one. Okay, good, tools. Then you just select the path from here. Yeah, and here is also user band flutter, where your flutter is, and you can leave this like this, or you can use the global what, or you can use the global link for it, but this will work fine as well. Yeah, but this is basically for people in China who have to set this like this, but if you're outside, it's also fine. It's always updated as well. So this is for the path. Then you do the same thing and then you save, as I did. You save. Okay, so after saving this, now you can run your flutter. You can run flutter doctor. Okay, so you run flutter doctor v, and then it should actually show you the Flutter Doctor information for your Flutter project. So if it runs like this, then everything is perfect. If you're having an error of install cmd line 2 something install, which you do uncheck here, you need to check my previous video where I have done a tutorial on how to solve those errors when you run your Flutter Doctor. It will look like this. Yeah, under this one you see cmd2 not installed. Yeah, just check my previous video, it will look like this, but since I have installed mine, you won't see it here. So now we are done with the global accessing of your Flutter, and we are done with the VS Code. You have installed the Flutter to enable you run a Flutter in your project using the VS Code. And then next is to check the Android Studio. So Android Studio, what you basically have to do here is to make sure you go to preference, and for preference make sure you have your SDK platform installed, which you'll be using for your VS Code or probably using the Android Studio itself. And make sure you install this. This is what I was talking about. SDK command line, make sure it is installed. The latest one is installed so that it does not give you any error of accepting Android license. Then you make sure your path is set well for this. So users, Ben, library, Android, make sure you set your path well, and you download some of the Android emulators you need that you can use in your project. Okay, so basically that's all. But if you want to run Flutter in your Android Studio, then you need to make sure you go to plugins and then you search for Flutter. It's loading. You search. Okay, so after loading, you search for Flutter. Okay, you can see Flutter here. If you can see, just search in the search bar up there, and it's gonna be first. So when you click on install, which I like to install now, but it will take some time, never mind. When installing, it's gonna prompt you, after it installed the Flutter, it will prompt you that do you wanna install that? That was in the previous one. I think this one will also be the same. Then you also click yes, install that, and then install everything. And now you can close this and open again, and you can actually create a new project where you're gonna have a button to say create a Flutter new project. And then we also have create Android new projects. But if you are using Flutter, you select the create what Flutter new project in the Android Studio. Good. So I think I have basically covered everything, but for the path, if you are using M1, I'll recommend you, that is MacBook M1, I will recommend you to actually read the documentation, because some Macs have a little bit of weird way of setting the path, which you need to actually glance through the documentation for you to know what is going on, or how to set for what for other machines. Yeah, but basically it's really easy. Okay, so next, installing this, getting this, installing your Flutter by searching plugin. I'm just going over it. Searching Flutter, install that. Also come here, install your Flutter, and then go here, set your path for both so that you don't find yourself wanting your bash profile and then your ZSHRZ. You set it for that, and then you can also set it for the VS Code, where I showed you the easiest way is to install after installing this, and then you have your SDK somewhere sitting on your computer. You get a path, you know the path already, and then you just press Command P, then greater than sign, then you go probably new project. You see Flutter new project, you click on it, it will give you a pop-up if you have not selected the path for your SDK at the first time. Down here, you select SDK path here, then you navigate to your Flutter. Just open the Flutter like this. Just open it like this using the navigator and press OK, and that is it. You can use your terminal here without setting this, or you can set both, and that is okay. If you have any question for setting up your Flutter project for the first time, kindly leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Peace. I'm out.